Gangs and guns, a deadly mix in Chicago that's getting more dire by the day. A mix that helped mark a grim milestone for the city this week. 500 so far this year.
These guys don't care child, woman, baby, male, they don't care who. These guys don't have no remorse and no respect for nobody.
And also kids raised with no sense of values when it comes to life.
This hell on earth.
It's hell on earth?
Yeah, it's hell on earth.
Since the dawn of the Chicago drill era in the 2000s, a handful of young men from the trenches of Chicago have been able to find success in laying down vocals on a beat, describing the gruesome conditions they were born into. And while a small minority of these rappers were able to move away from the Southside gang-infested streets, plagued by young men toting straps and looking for any reason to unload a full clip on their ops, there is a large proportion of young men who weren't so lucky. In this video, we won't be looking at any two specific gangs or their underlying conflicts that have led to countless casualties over the years, but instead, I want to focus on some of the most brazen assassinations that have been documented in the Chicago drill era that you may or may not have heard of.
It's all fun and games until one of your loved ones get killed. Nobody understands until one of yours, then you be like, you be mad, you want to strike back, but at the same time, another one of your loved ones, that's you got to look at your loved ones and they're like, man, get their life taken.
Cedron Doles, infamously known in the streets of Chicago as Shooter Shells, rapped a Black Peace Stone set named Black Mob, direct ops to G Herbo's LNMB gang from the east side of Chicago. And as in countless stories around Chicago of how street fights between young boys turned into shooting at one another as rivals grew older, this is no different.
Like even before Herb even came around, you feel me? This was like in 6th grade elementary school. It's been always fighting, but in
So this shit been going on back in the day?
Right.
They've been fighting them since elementary school, and then as got in high school, the shit gon' escalate, you feel me? Motherfuckers start playing with guns, all that.
And G Herbo was never one to shy away from putting his main rival, Shooter Shells, on wax, dissing him at every chance he got as he rapped in 2012's My Hood alongside Lil Baby.
Don't tell Shooter we name change.
And in 2016's I'm a Boss remix.
The motherfuckers ain't. I see Juvie slam the rates, I see Shooter blam the 8.
And while Lil Herb and Lil Baby kept dishing out the disses, in the early hours of August the 10th, 2013, Lil Herb, Cairo, and various other NLMB members had their cameras out and posing for Instagram on 79th and Essex.
Squad out here for my boy, No Limits George.
Happy B-Days to my nigga George.
Thanks.
Got the Gucci watch on.
Yeah, get
But that
squad watch on that, man. What up, fool? Let me get some.
what? Let's talk to the camera.
Instagram.
Hey, the snowman, you feel me?
And at 4:30 a.m., one of the members, Jacoby Herring, known as Kobe, would depart from the crew and head home. But unbeknownst to him, Shooter Shells and another Black Mob member named AWOL would sneak up from behind and unload multiple shots at Kobe, leaving him unresponsive. G Herbo would detail this incident on his song Sacrifice, rapping.
On the block, shoot dice, yeah, that was when Kobe went.
Well, we was right here shooting dice for my Kobe and shit. So like 4 in the morning. We was out here, I'm right here, on point with the leg. Holding them right there, shooting dice. No, they like right here. Bro walked off, went to the crib, for. We steady hitting shots. We ain't even know this bro getting shot at another shit, for it's 4 in the morning. You hear me, folks? It's 4 in the morning. I'm steady hearing them bitch. We like, damn, somebody blew down. We steady hearing them bitch. Then I just jump up like, fuck, that's Kobe, boy.
And in 2017, while in his house on 75th and Phillips, a female he was with at the time would call the police and report multiple wrongdoings by Shooter Shells, and they would raid his house, seize firearms, and arrest Shooter Shells, where he would spend 18 months behind bars.
I was around with this little female or whatever, you feel me? We had a little crib or whatever. We had this little crib together, you feel me, down there on 73rd on Phillips or whatever. And she called the police and got the fucking raid because the crib was in her name. So she gave them consent to get the crib searched or whatever. They searched the crib, you know, they found some guns or whatever, you feel me? And you know, they found some other shit in there that they was able to use to pin that shit on me. So shit, I went down for shit. I've been booked for like 18 months.
While serving his 18-month jail stint in late April 2014, King Scoobs, a notorious black mob member, was walking on the 7219 block of South Phillips when a man walked up to him and unloaded multiple shots to his temple and body, then fleeing the scene. King Scoobs was Shooter Shell's brother. Rumor has it the trigger man was Yogi from ABK, a black P-Stone set that had strong ties to G Herbo's No Limit set. But when that 18-month jail sentence was served, Shooter Shells would be back in the streets of Chicago looking solely to avenge the passing of his brother, and on June the 27th, 2016, he would do just that, as he allegedly caught Duwan Williams, King Scoob's alleged walking on the 7400 block of South Shore Drive, and he would proceed to unload multiple shots, striking him several times before fleeing the scene. And if this wasn't enough, he would diss Yogi on various tracks, rapping on Pac-Man about how he was rolling up a Yogi pack. And on April the 5th, 2017, Shooter Shells would drop one of the most disrespectful tracks to come out of the east side of Chicago, titled The Death of 150, a direct diss at G Herbo and his imprint 150 Dream Team, where he tells G Herbo if he sees him on black mob territory, he was gonna put him on the news, and College Kid was gonna have to make a video about him and put him on YouTube. He would diss G Herbo's friend Kobe, a case in which he was the alleged shooter in, and he'd end the song by dissing G Herbo, Vito, Kobe, and various other No Limit members who had passed. And only 3 months after dropping The Death of 150, gaining recognition around the city, and doing interviews with SAC TV, Shooter Shells would go on social media to tell his followers he was determined on taking music seriously on the back of the success of his No Limit diss track, The Death of 150. But what he didn't know was the video may have exposed his surroundings and the exact neighborhood in which he resided.
Shooter motherfucking Shells, Mr. Death of 150. Yeah, I know I be catching y'all stupid, you know? But you know, everybody telling me to leave that other shit alone, just focus on his music. And they right. So I'm gonna do that, you know. Stay out the way.
And unfortunately, on July the 10th, 2017, Shooter Shells was on his way to court to support a friend when 3 men jumped out of a white Nissan, all wearing black hoodies, and they would fire a barrage of shots at Shooter Shells, striking him 10 times in his temple and 4 times in his body. He was pronounced deceased at 9:40 a.m. The perpetrators were believed to be Marley, Mainski, and Mad Max, all members of NLMB. And when news got back to G Herbo of what had happened to his most formidable rival from Black Mob, he would hop on IG Live and had this to say.
Somebody just comment on my live talking about RP Shooter Shells, man, that.
And on 21 Questions with Toronto Demon Top 5, G Herbo would rap.
Don't know who to tell, don't ask questions about my ops. Don't know Shooter Shells.
We gotta stay in the east side of Chicago for our next story, which involves cutthroat gangs KTS Dre, one half of a deadly duo from Lakeside and brother to KTS Vaughn. KTS, or Kill to Survive, is a gang from the east side of Chicago made up of Vice Lords and gangster disciples, infamously known for walking around the Oblock with their camera out and terrorizing anybody they come across. And this was called their No Lacking series, making it be known to their followers that they'd be lurking on No Limit's turf with Lil Herb and his entourage nowhere to be found. And on one of these vlogs, they'd make their way to the McDonald's on 79th and Essex. And as they approached the McDonald's, occupied by No Limit gang members, Posto, a notable name in this story, would ask KTS Vaughn to lower the No Limit gang members outside the McDonald's so he could pop them.
Thrash him, get him outside, then I'm gonna pop. You got that on you? Yeah, thrash him, get him outside, then I'm gonna pop.
And as they walked into the McDonald's, KTS Dre would approach Cairo from No Limit, pressing him against the wall and trying to force him to say Groko, a No Limit member that had recently passed away. And when Cairo refused, he would get punched in the face by KTS Dre. And whether KTS Dre knew it or not, it was this very incident on that godforsaken October night in 2012 that would spark a bloody feud between his gang and No Limit, which would culminate in him getting shot 64 times while leaving the Cook County Jail 9 years later. But before we get to that incident, KTS Dre would lose a lot of his friends and brothers at the hands of G Herbo, Mad Max, and the No Limit crew. And the first casualty for the cutthroat gang would be Posto, the same young man who asked Dre and Vaughn to lower the No Limit members outside so he could blast them.
Thrash him, get him outside, then I'm gonna pop. You got that on you? Yeah, thrash him, get him outside, then I'm gonna pop.
He'd post various videos on the internet antagonizing No Limit and G Herbo.
Y'all know who it is. Posto. Oh, back. MMG. No, world. That is. I ain't never heard of you keep start rapping shit. I
And on November the 23rd, 2013, while at a party, 18-year-old Tayshawn Anderson suffered a wound to the head and would pass away. Rumor has it, Crazy James from No Limit was the man responsible, and he would rap on his song, It's Real, telling Posto to pick his face up. G Herbo would join in on the disrespect, mocking Posto's passing on Twitter and rapping his smoking on a Posto pack on Zico pack with Rondo number 9, and even mentioning Posto on his famous 2018 freestyle, Who Run It. Juice WRLD would also see it fit to join in on the disrespect as he started clicking up with the members from No Limit after signing to Lil Baby's Grade A Records.
Smoking on Katie Pack and Posto and Mr. the most.
And when the news of Posto's demise got back to KTS Dre and Vaughn, the Cut Road members would be seen spinning the block looking to avenge Posto's passing.
Out here, man. Posto game, man. We were fast as us. What now? What you talking about? You don't want no McDonald's. McDonald's. Posto game.
And as Lil Herb and Lil Baby were receiving nationwide recognition as they continued relaying the dangers that were all too common in Terrortown, while still dissing deceased ops like Posto on their joint collaboration Ain't Heard About You. Back on Lakeside, KTS top savage KTS Vaughn was nursing a gunshot wound he had suffered in August 2014, and on his song Street Life that featured a wounded KTS Vaughn cooking up on a stovetop while rapping about avenging his deceased fellow Cutthroat member, Posto. He'd rap about how he got caught lacking, but not every shooter is a killer, and he would diss Kobe, a No Limit member who got shot by Black Mob's shooter shells, an incident we covered in the previous story. And in April 2015, KTS Vaughn would drop his biggest song to date, titled Kill to Survive, featuring him wearing a hoodie with the names of all his deceased rivals. He'd rap about sliding through Terrortown while putting ops in the sky. And on June the 22nd, KTS Vaughn would go on social media and exchange threats with No Limit member Chopper. But little did he know, No Limit members would soon catch him lurking, because on June the 23rd, 2015, reports state KTS Vaughn received a call from somebody and would proceed to leave a friend's house and stand on the 7500 block of South Ellis Avenue, where a car would drive by and unload 18 shots at KTS Vaughn, leaving him deceased at the scene. And while various KTS members would mourn the loss of KTS Vaughn, back on 79 and Essex, No Limit Chopper would post a video mocking KTS Vaughn and rapping Vaughn's lyrics from his song Street Life.
If he ain't for Posto, it wouldn't be right. He should've Posto and kept his pipe. But now he up there for no business there.
And as the years went on, G Herbo would move out of Terrortown and its gang-infested streets that had forced him to endure so much pain and trauma. He'd continue cultivating his flourishing rap career, but back on Terrortown, Herbo's main rival, who was still alive, KTS Dre, was still committed to staying in Chicago, doing bits in and out of Cook County Jail, and adamant on dissing his ops.
Man, I ain't gonna be nowhere but in the rack. I'm over east, Oblock soldier. We ain't shooting from no car, we just trying to get close. Talking about, am I in the rack? I just had court in Cook County today. The you talking about?
Bro, you need to leave the city, unless they gonna get you.
Sooner or later. Sooner than later, y'all. I'm tired of this shit. Come take me out this shit, cause I can't take it no more. Y'all be pissing me off with that stuff. Y'all been threatening me for 20 years, bro. It's y'all.
He'd drop NLMBK Part 2 with lyrics aimed at G Herbo, saying he's still on the block, unlike these rappers who act gangster. He'd go on social media rejoicing at the news of Juice WRLD's passing because he had dissed Posto so much in his music.
The fuck? We don't care who like that. Juice WRLD. Hey, look, on my mama, the whole world was crying like, oh, Juice OD. I swear to God, I was on the floor laughing.
And while doing all this woofing on social media, behind the scenes, KTS Dre was on house arrest, fighting a case where he had wrestled an officer for a firearm after a traffic stop, which violated his bond conditions, and he'd be sent back to the Cook County Jail in June. And while in jail, he'd go on social media, vowing 2021 was going to be his year, and he'd be rich, while all his ops would be stuck in the gang-infested streets of Chicago.
My life, boy. Hey, look, real life. Hey, I'll to the side, I'm gonna be rich as hell next year. For 2021, I'm gonna be rich. Hey, look, it's supposed to be 2020. I'm supposed to be rich as hell, but I keep going to jail because motherfuckers keep snitching because y'all man, y'all scary.
Hey, never snitch, never switch.
Never snitch, but look though, 2021 though, we finna be rich as hell. Y'all finna be as hell. Y'all finna be head.
And after a stroke of luck, his girlfriend would put up $5,000 to bail him out of the Cook County jail and remain on house arrest. But unfortunately, KTS Dre wouldn't even make it home that night because at 8:50 p.m., two cars would pull up on the 2700 block of South California Avenue and unload a barrage of shots towards KTS Dre as he walked out of the Cook County jail, hitting him 64 times. And this is what the autopsy looked like.
Motherfucker tell me, talking about you act like Duck was innocent. He the was compared to Brick. Y'all don't even know the motherfucking half, okay? Before they started calling him Brick, they used to call him Spook.
For our last story, we go to the south side of Chicago to revisit the most infamous war in the Chicago drill era, Oblock versus Tayville. The unfortunate victims in this incident would be FBG Brick, older brother to one of Chicago's most prominent GDs, FBG Duck, and Kobe Mack, who was Carlton Wakely's cousin.
First off, man, I keep hearing a lot of shit on the internet saying you related to Duck, y'all brothers.
That's my blood, little brother.
Like blood?
Blood, same mama.
Wow.
Bro, same mama, different dad.
So what you...
Now, on February the 14th, 2017, feared Oblock gang member James Johnson, better known in the streets as T-Roy, was inside a neighborhood store on the 2000 block of East 71st Street when Ken Get Right and TB from Taekwondo World would walk up to T-Roy and unload one shot at T-Roy's chest, then fleeing the scene.
Tell T-Roy to watch who we running up on for them grade. My boys don't play no games, boy. Hold them.
Chest shot.
Hold up. Then he got, I heard T-Roy had a nice glizzy on the where he got his ass. It's black gang.
He'd be rushed to Northwestern Memorial Hospital but would sadly be pronounced at 12:38 p.m. Rumor has it that FBG Brick was the one who provided T-Roy's location to TB and Ken Get Right. And while on FBG Duck's IG Live, you could hear him in the background rejoicing after the news of T-Roy's passing broke.
Look on them on here going, good, they so happy, it been funny as hell, cause I know folks know proud, they got him out the way. I know them. I'm on live, G, shut the f*** up. It's funny. Before you even get it, it just came on, but still, it's Instagram, it deleted instantly, it just came on. Damn, they on here talking about what you think about T-Roy getting popped. Damn, T-Roy got popped?
Why do you think the campus though?
When that happened?
Why you got to play a car garage?
When T-Roy get popped?
Feeling now he drives a car.
Damn, somebody popped him? Is he? Is he? Did he? How much did they pop T-Roy? It must don't be, it must ain't that important. It ain't all over the internet.
Naturally, Oblock's grimiest touring savages would want to retaliate, and with King Von in prison fighting the case that allegedly involved him and Big Mike, Malcolm Stuckey, back in Parkway Gardens, the BDs there would form Get Back Gang, a subset of BDs on Parkway whose sole focus was avenging the losses they had endured at the hands of their ops over on 63rd. So, on July the 17th, 2017, McAdoo, Cap, C-Murder, Trey 5, and HK would drive to 63rd and St. Lawrence Avenue, where a countless number of people were attending a block party, and amongst the crowd was FBG Brick and Kobe Mack. A white SUV would pull up, and one of the men would walk out and unload a barrage of shots at Kobe Mack, being hit 9 times across his temple and body. FBG Brick would run through a gangway in an attempt to escape the perpetrators, but he'd in the gangway 6 times across his face and body. The suspects would swiftly flee the scene, while both men were unfortunately pronounced deceased at the scene. And when the news broke in regard to what had happened on 63rd and St. Lawrence, FBG Duck would go on IG Live to warn his ops against mentioning Brick or Kobe unless they wanted to be 6 feet under.
Last May, you lost your brother.
Mm-hmm. And cousin.
Last July.
And cousin.
And cousin on the same day.
Mm-hmm.
Where were you when you heard that news?
I was at home. I just woke up. I was at the crib. I had just woke up. As soon as I found that, I pulled right up to the scene. It was like, you know how that shit go. This your oldest brother. This your mama oldest child. You seeing him right here laid out. This your cousin, your oldest cousin. You seeing him right here laid out sheets on him. That shit was crazy. If you mention Brick or Kobe, you gonna.
Mama Duck would be heard heartbroken at the sight of what had happened to her son. She'd explain on an interview with Say Cheese on what actually happened on that terrible July afternoon.
Supposed to be in a car waiting in the back behind where they were standing. And then the car came up the one way and they instantly shot Kobe. And Brick tried to run and jump a gate. And was shot in the back. And he was also, I'm assuming the way his autopsy report was that as he was running towards the back, somebody was back there waiting on him.